So the first question is always, why Mexico, and why specifically did you pick Rancho Costa Verde?
Well, a person I knew from high school for 50 years, they lived down here, and we met for our 50th reunion, actually, and they started talking about Rancho Costa Verde, and I've been coming to Mexico for years and years and years, and before I went to college, high school, college, even way after that.
Since you were
Yeah.
from San Diego.
From San Diego, and it was, I've always found it peaceful and calm, never had a problem in my entire life being down here, and I just enjoy it. It's just a calm, peaceful place to be, contrary to what people think, that the cartel's everywhere, and that they're going to rob you and they're going to, hijack you or whatever. That's not at all. The people are very friendly, very easygoing. They're amenable with tourists. Actually, they love tourists. That's part of their economy. So we came down here and met with the Michaels and looked at some property and fell in love with the place. I always wanted to live on the beach, and that was my dream. The only thing it doesn't have surf. That's the only thing I miss. Because I grew up surfing and body surfing. If it had surf, it'd be the perfect place. So right now it's about 99.9%.
For your liking.
For my liking.
From my perspective, it's perfect. I grew up swimming since I was a little girl, and became a lifeguard. I was a synchronized swimmer. I became a master scuba diver. So I love the water, and peaceful waters to me are perfect. Underwater, you don't want a lot of movement. So contrary to him, I'm 100% happy being here. But I was going to tell you from my perspective, it wasn't because we were introduced to the place. I've been coming to Mexico forever. But we've been to Hawaii. We've been to I've been to Europe, scuba diving.
Been to Florida.
The Red Sea.
Been to Florida.
Been to Florida. We've been to the Caribbean. Cabo, Puerto Vallarta. I grew up, going to Puerto Vallarta. But they're a little busy for my taste. And when we saw this place here, I mean, literally before we left, we bought a lot. That tells you everything. I fell in love with it also, as my husband. But more importantly, it was just that peacefulness, that clean air. You can feel the clean ocean breeze. The ocean is clean. There's the mountains, beautiful view, both ways, east and west. And it's just a perfect place for us to live and just get away from the hustle and bustle from a city.
You mentioned Acapulco, and I hear it's pretty expensive down there. Is it as expensive here as it is down there?
No.
No, not
it's
at
a
all.
lot
Not
cheaper
at all.
here. I have family that has all over the Pacific coast, from North Puerto Vallarta all the way south, that have properties, and you just can't compare. The prices are perfect right now here. I think the average person can actually afford it, a lot here.
And I think the prices here are going to pretty much stay stable. They're not going to suddenly increase like they have in Puerto Vallarta or Cabo and those places, because everybody's moving down there, and of course the more movement, the more a population, the more they can charge. This kind of supply and demand, basic supply and demand, basic economics. But here, they're not here to gouge people. They're here because they want people to enjoy what they've developed over the years. And they've really done a good job of developing and plotting everything out where everybody's got a view, either of the ocean or they got a view of the mountains, or a combination of both, depending on where your lot is. And the one thing I was going to say that I forgot to mention earlier is that I've always found the ocean very calming, because it kind of reminds me of, like, when it comes in, it takes your troubles, and when it goes out, it takes the troubles with you. It's like refreshing yourself, renewing yourself. You can watch it come in, and it grabs all the bad stuff from you, and it flows back out, and it renews you. And I can remember even going to college when I was, had a final or something big like that. I'd go and sit in the ocean, just watch the ocean for a couple hours, and it would calm me. And I find the same kind of peacefulness here in Rancho Costa Verde as I did no matter where we've been.
And you mentioned affordability. Forgive me for asking, but are you folks well off, or are you of means?
I think, we've worked hard so we can retire comfortably and have enough money to build a beach house and so forth. By no means we have extra money to, give away or to waste. And that's what attracted us also, that we can feel safe, that we're putting in our money into a good investment. And we feel not just safe, but we feel like it's worth every cent we spent here. And they're not gouging us. The builders here are very reasonable. We're getting a home that's custom for 1/3 of the price you would pay, or even less, in the United States. So it's very affordable from that perspective. Like
And when
I
you
said,
ask-
you don't have to be a millionaire
Yeah,
to
when you
be
ask
able to
about,
afford a home here.
are we of people of means? I'd say by no means, but by the same token, because we're older and we've worked and earned our monies and invested wisely, we found value. I wouldn't go to Puerto Vallarta, for example, and spend 3 times the amount of money to be in Puerto Vallarta when I can live here for 1/3 or less. So it's like anything in life, you earn it, and then you have to, in your later years, you have to enjoy it.
You said you worked and you saved, you invested wisely. Do you mind me asking what it is that you folks did before you retired?
I am a retired special agent with the FBI, or FBI agent, and I had from the LA division. I love my profession, but it was also time. Once we retired, my husband and I knew it was time to look for a smaller, just calmer, peaceful place to retire for the rest of our times.
I'm a retired Los Angeles Police Department homicide detective, and I've worked the worst parts of the city, to be honest with you, for almost 30 years, and enjoyed my job, but now is the time to enjoy our retirement. And we've planned for our retirement. Consequently, that's where we're down here. But as far as people are always concerned about crime down here, and I can tell you from a professional point of view, although there is crime, there's no crime here. They're going to be in the larger cities. That's where you're going to find any real problems. Here, I think there is almost nil to none.
Yes. You go into town and everybody's very
Friendly.
friendly, accommodating. They're more than willing to help you. Good customer service anywhere you go.
Yeah.
Great food. You can't beat the food here. You can get fresh fruit and vegetables,
Fish.
all your groceries. It's self-sufficient. You don't really have to go far unless you need something big or special that you need to go into the big city. But you can be here months and, be stocked up and have everything you need to live comfortably and eat well.
We looked at what it costs us to live monthly where we live now in Idaho, and what it would cost us to live here, and it was like 1/4 of what it was going to cost us. And that's living comfortably. That's not skimping. That's just living like we would normally live. And so when you consider how much further your money actually goes here for what you get, it's really a fantastic bargain. And people that don't know about it, in a way it's good, but in a way they're kind of cheating themselves. If they come down here, I think they'll fall in love with it like we did.
Yeah.
Speaking of being out here, do you find it a long way from California, but do you find it a long way from San Felipe? I mean, why didn't you choose a place closer to town?
I think, again, it feels like you're out here in nature. I just don't want to listen to the cars or the noise from a town, or because it's a big enough. San Felipe is a big enough town. It is just so peaceful, and the sunsets, the sun rises, the stars at night. You just can't beat it.
But at the
So
same,
it's worth the 30, 40-minute drive from town. And the roads are new. They're perfectly okay to drive. So, there's really no problem getting here.
and the nice thing about the roads too is that they're patrolled at night by almost like, I guess for lack of a better term, like a AAA, and they're always out there and they're patrolling, to make sure if anybody gets in trouble. So you don't feel like you're isolated, like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I'm miles from nowhere. But as far as getting here, there's major airports. The San Diego International. You can go to Ontario. You can go to Yuma. There's a lot of major airports that fly
Imperial.
in Imperial, and then you just take your car, and it's like
Small
a 3.5 hour drive here, and you're at home.
Or you're across the border.
And then if you need to go shopping in the major cities, you plan a day and you go and you come back that same day.
I just want to emphasize a little bit more about, in case some people have doubts. I've been coming to Mexico all my life, back and forth, and you have too. But we're experienced because of our professions to know where there's danger. And there is none here. The National Guard here in Mexico actually has done a great job patrolling. You don't hear of the cartels coming down on this side of the Gulf. They just don't. They come through the mainlands,
Yeah, it goes through the ocean.
or they go through the Pacific side,
Yeah.
but they don't come to the Gulf area. That much I do know. And you don't even have to think about it twice. It's just perfectly safe.
And by the same token, they've got a couple of check stations along the way from the police,
The National Guard does.
the National Guard, and they check you, make sure you're not bringing illegal things or taking them back illegal things, which I find very peaceful and very calming to know that not only are they protecting the people leaving, but protecting the people coming in. They're not sure they're not going to bring anything in here that's going to harm the residents, the permanent residents that live here, even and the town too. So from my perspective, and again from my profession, I don't mind being stopped by the National Guard and having them check us. I think it's to our benefit, to be honest with you, and it's to everybody's benefit.
As you said, you have a lot of experience here in Mexico. Do you find the heat, the weather, oppressive?
No, not at all. I mean, it does get hot in the summers. That's to be expected. You're in Mexico. But that's why people come, because they want the warm weather. When we first retired, we moved to Idaho. And that's where we live right now. We're going to move down here full time as soon as our home is finished, which is a couple more months. Quite frankly, I'm not going to miss the cold weather,
No.
I'm looking forward to, if it gets too hot, you jump in the water, taken care of. Or you jump in the great pool that the community has here. And no, I mean, all the homes have air conditioning. Like I said, it's a custom home. That's what they build down here, custom home. They're not shacks or anything like that. You can have whatever you want, and you've got your air conditioning.
Like no matter where you live or no matter where you move, there's always small adjustments. You always have to adjust to whether it be to the weather or the whatever it may be. There's always adjustments to be made. But I think overall, you can't beat the price, the location, the weather, the food, the people. Just the peace of mind I think you actually feel when you're down here. It's very peaceful. You don't feel pressured. There's no, I got to hurry up and do this and do that. If I do it today, it's fine. If I don't, I'll get it done tomorrow. And there's no busyness like there was in LA, when I worked in LA for almost 30 years. I used to drive 52 miles one way to work. And it was like, if I left at a certain time, I could get there in 45 minutes to my division. If I left 10 minutes later, it'd take me an hour and a half.
Plus, all the neighbors here make an effort to get to know you immediately. They come and introduce themselves, and they invite you for brunch, get-togethers, and so everybody knows each other. And literally, you can leave your home for a month, and your home's going to be safe.
Come enjoy Rancho Costa Verde for a peaceful way of life.
Good tagline.
That's about it.